5, that's right.
You can have mine.
Just thinking the glasses.
Yeah,
I know.
I get home, be bouncing off the walls, because she's
Yeah.
like, what's wrong?
Cause I had to drink that coffee Jean made me go get it. Y'all ready?
We are ready.
Good afternoon and welcome to the November 10th, 2025 hearing of the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission. Commissioner Attaway will give you the procedures.
Good afternoon. Please sign in at the podium if you wish to address the commission pertaining to an item on the agenda. If you have not signed in and intend to testify, please do so now. If multiple people are interested in an item, please coordinate your testimonies and allow 1 or 2 spokespersons to represent similar concerns to avoid duplication of information. All persons who have signed in to testify will be required to stand and accept the oath prior to the testimony. Any testimony at this hearing given by persons who have not given an oath will not be considered evidence in these proceedings. When your item is called, you and/or your representative shall come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. After the applicant's presentation, the individuals in support and then those in opposition will be given an opportunity to testify. Finally, the applicant will return for an opportunity for rebuttal. Please restate your name for the record each time you return to address the commission. Each side is allowed 15 minutes per side, not per person. Additional time may be added by the commission if needed and will be granted to each side. The timers used to monitor the proceedings are located on the right side of the screen. We ask that anyone addressing the commission speak clearly and directly into the microphone as the proceedings are being recorded. Comments from the public not at the podium are not allowed and will not be part of the record. Redundant, irrelevant, or hostile testimony or questioning may be limited or terminated by the chair. Questions should be directed for the purpose of obtaining truthful information for the enlightenment of each side and the commission, not for the purpose of arguments. After hearing from both sides, the commission will go into deliberations and make a decision. The commission may defer or continue the deliberations and/or the decision until a subsequent meeting if warranted. No further testimony from either side is allowed during the commission's deliberations or votes. We ask the audience remain quiet during the hearing and respect the dignity of these proceedings. Speaking out from the audience or demonstrations intended to disrupt the hearing will not be tolerated. We ask everyone in attendance to turn off or silence all cell phones or other electronic devices.
Okay, I'm pleased to say that we have a full commission today. Is there anyone scheduled to be heard today that wishes to defer or withdraw an application? All right, we'll now have our commission clerk administer the roll call and oath.
Commission Chair Jean Eason.
Here.
Commission Vice Chair Tim Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Keisha Stafford.
Here.
Commissioner Mindy Attaway.
Here.
Commissioner Robert Rittman.
Here.
Executive Director Jeff Ruggieri.
Present.
Assistant Executive Director Randy Dalton.
Present.
If you have signed in to address the commission, please rise, raise your right hand, and respond "I do" after the oath is read. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda with agenda item 1, 2, 3.
You didn't make any changes.
5.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? So carried. Did we have anyone who wanted to defer or withdraw their application today? I've already asked that, haven't I? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of our previous meeting?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of
October 27th.
October 27th meeting, according to the findings and staff report.
All right, we have a motion by Keisha and a second by Mindy to approve the minutes of our October 27 meeting. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, so carried. All right, I think we're ready.
The first item that we'll have today is, we don't have anyone signed up for our public comment, but we have, Allison, Senior here from TSW. She's representing the consulting firm that was hired to, help us with our new comprehensive plan. We do have a requirement to have a, public hearing to kick it off, so we'll be doing that today. And Allison will have a short presentation to, go over what we're doing, what it's about, how we can get involved in the future. So right now we'll have a motion to, we require a motion to open the public hearing, for the comprehensive plan.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I move to open the public hearing for hearing number one on making it happen.
okay.
Second,
All right, we have a motion by Tim and a second by Mindy to approve the
Open the public.
for opening the public hearing for the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission regarding the comprehensive land development plan.
Allison, go ahead.
Do we have a second?
Oh,
second,
Second, okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All. It's approved.
All right, well, thank y'all for having me today. Like I said, my name is Allison Sinyard. I'm representing TSW, the consultant group that has been hired by the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission to assist y'all through the comprehensive plan process. So get on the next slide and I can get this. All right, so our objectives for today, as Jeff mentioned, part of the state of Georgia's requirements for comprehensive planning do include a number of public hearings. So this is what we're counting as our first public hearing. The purpose of this really is to give an overview of the comprehensive planning process. And my personal objectives for today, which will satisfy that, will be for everyone to get acquainted with the team. We're going to talk about comprehensive planning, what it can do for Macon-Bibb County. This will be more geared, not just for those familiar with comprehensive planning, but for those maybe less familiar. I'm also going to take some time to explain the planning process that we are undergoing, as well as our scope of work, and then share opportunities to give input throughout the process. So to introduce the team, so leading the charge, of course, is the Macon-Bibb Planning and Zoning Commission. We have a steering committee that we will be working with over the next 12 to 16 months, along with the residents and other stakeholders of this community. All together will guide our consultant team, who is made up of TSW, RSNH, and Arnett Mulder and Associates. So to give you all some background about these firms, so TSW, again, being the prime consultant, but our charge is going to be really focused on the land use and development piece. Bicycle and pedestrian planning. We do have a number of really great planners on our staff that are focused on micromobility, and not mentioned on our slide, but we're also going to be looking at the quality of life elements. So looking at parks, schools, the things that make living in this community great. RSNH, they're actually our neighbors in Midtown Atlanta, but they are going to be looking specifically at roadway and freight transportation planning. They have experience working along the 75 corridor. So they come, with a lot of experience about everything that comes with freight planning and corridor planning along major interstates. And then Arnett Mulder and Associates, they're a market analysis firm out of Greenville, South Carolina. We've worked with them closely over the years. They are a fantastic group to work with. They bring so much to the table, but really they're going to be focusing on the market analysis and economic development recommendations. On the next slide, please. So here, this is the team. So I wanted just to say we have a number of folks on our team who I think our interest in Macon really varies. We have folks that have personal ties to the area. We have folks who have experience working in this area, but also just people who are just big fans of Macon, its history, and everything that it offers. So this is like our core group of consultants that will be working, but supporting us will be a number of other planners and other consultants so that you may meet during our public engagement efforts throughout the year. Next slide, please. All right. So to kind of kick us off, I'm going to give a quick overview about what comprehensive plan is. Excuse me, pull up my notes. So again, let's start with the basics. What is a comprehensive plan? A comprehensive plan is a big picture guiding document that outlines how Macon-Bibb County is going to develop over the next 30 plus years, what kind of investments that it's going to, the types of investments that it will make to make a vision happen. So what this planning process does is it helps us answer three big questions. Number one, where are we today? So that would entail doing a big, looking at existing conditions and trends and using that to inform, where the community's head and now and where are they headed. The second question is, where do we want to go? That's establishing the vision of what Macon-Bibb County wants to look like in the next 30 or so years. And most importantly, we answer the question of how do we get there? So that's the strategy, the investments that we are going to recommend to get you from number 1 to number 2 to number 3. Next slide, please. So what this plan will do is guide how land use and development decisions are going to be made over the next 30 plus years. But this plan is going to be focusing really on the next 5. That next 5 years, really specifically the investments, the strategies, so on. It's also going to connect to other major topics like housing and transportation, economic development. So while this is at its heart a land use plan, a development plan, it's also a way for us to be able to coordinate with all these other things, just to make sure that everything supports each other, everything's working together, and we are all moving towards the same goals. Next slide. And yeah, this plan is going to cover the entire county, not just the urban core of Macon, not just 1 or 2 specific neighborhoods. We are looking at the entire county. We recognize that different parts of Macon-Bibb County have different goals. They have different needs. There are different opportunities that are in place there. So one of our key goals is really to make sure that the voices from all across the county are heard and reflected and are incorporated into this plan. All right, so let's talk about why we would even plan at all, right? The very first reason is simple. The state of Georgia requires every city and county government to have an up-to-date comprehensive plan. You update it every 5 years. Now, the extent of the update is totally up to the community, right? Sometimes you can do a very minor update, just buttoning it up and make sure it's still reflective, or you may undergo through an update like this, a much larger, more coordinated update. But it does ensure that local governments are kind of just staying abreast of all of the challenges and opportunities that are available for them. The next reason, beyond the requirement really, is that we want to be intentional about our future. Without a plan, development can be very reactionary, and the way we things can happen and we react. If we don't plan for it, then that can mean trouble. So with a plan that helps us make clear decisions, it helps us understand what the future looks like, and we can create a tool that really helps and guide investments in the correct direction. The next reason is that things change. And I think, having been through probably several once in a lifetime events over the past decade, and we can see very clearly how quickly things can change. So keeping that in mind, population shifts, employment trends, housing needs are always going to really have an impact on what the needs and opportunities are for any community. So the comprehensive plan, it gives us a framework for being able to adapt to that change instead of being caught off guard by it. And then lastly, which I think might be the most important, I think this is a plan. The plan needs to be able to capture the community's voice. Development is most successful when it reflects what the community, when it has community buy-in. So we need to ensure that we have a documented vision that decision makers like yourselves can return to when new opportunities arise, and we know is going to also stand the test of time. Next slide. All right. So now that we discussed what this plan is, let's kind of walk through about how we're going to create this plan. So our scope is pretty simple. We are going to take an inventory of what Macon-Bibb has accomplished since the adoption of the current plan in 2022. We are also going to create a flexible yet clear strategy for new development. We're also going to be integrating existing and ongoing studies, as well as a few that we know are kind of upcoming. So this is a great exercise for us to be able to work with these different plans. For example, the housing study that's currently undergoing. This is an opportunity for us to take what they recommend and be able to incorporate it into the entire vision for the county, just as an example. But also, like I said earlier, gathering meaningful input about what the community wants to see for its future. Next slide, please. So let's talk about the approach. So typically, when we do a comprehensive plan, we follow this very formulaic approach where it's very predictable. We do a big months-long existing conditions analysis, and then we come back and we have a number of meetings that are extremely broad in their scope, and they cover so many different topics. And then we create the plan, we make the revisions, we adopt. Next slide, please. there's nothing really wrong with this approach. It can work and it does often work. The problem that we sometimes have with this is that it, especially on the engagement front, having just a few very broad public meetings, it just spreads the engagement out too thin. And we're not sometimes not able to dig in deep into topics that are actually very important to the community that we're working with. So this approach that we are going to be doing is a little bit different. We're calling it the deep dive approach. We've done variations of this in the past, and we feel like this works really well, especially with county governments or just counties, where there's just a lot of different, there's a lot of diversity, a lot of variety, but there's so many specific things that we know this community really cares about. So what this approach does is we look at all of these topics: land use, transportation, economic development, housing, and quality of life. We look at them separately. We have focus meetings around it. We draft these elements separately. We put it all together. We refine it where necessary, and then we come back and we adopt the plan. The next slide, please. So just to dive in a little bit of what that approach kind of looks like for each element of the plan, what we would do is we start out with the ramp up. So we would do some focus group discussions to kick things off. We'd review all the existing plans and the data to help us understand the big picture. So very similar to any existing conditions analysis. It's pretty much what it is. But then we come back and we have very focused community meetings about that specific topic. We also may have some small group interviews, some stakeholder meetings. We'll have a steering committee that we're going to be consulting with throughout the process. So we're able to have really tailored discussions about these different elements. And then we come back and we draft and finalize the goals, the needs, the opportunities sections of the report, the recommendations. We come back and identify the high priority actions and implementation strategies that will be needed to make that vision a reality. So here's our schedule. As you can see, we're going to be working all through 2026 and 2027. 2026 is going to be the bulk of our engagement process. So we're going to be really crafting the elements, having a lot of community meetings. And then 2027 is going to be more putting it all together and going through the required steps by the state to get the plan adopted. So as you'll see, we're going to be doing this the order in which we're going to be doing everything. We're going to kick things off with the transportation. We're going to two elements are really going to speak to each other. Same thing with housing and land use. You'll notice we don't have a specific meeting about housing because the county is already doing so much studies with the housing. So what we're going to be doing is taking everything we've learned from that housing study and incorporating it into the land use section of the plan. We're going to try to have a lot of meetings during the land use section of the plan. I think we're targeting, correct me if I'm wrong, about maybe 9 meetings, 1 per county commissioner district. Still trying to figure out how many and what those meetings might look like, but we are going to be trying to be very intentional with those meetings to try to reach every corner of the county so we can maximize our engagement. And then moving into 2027, we'll have one last big community meeting, put the plan all together, and have this ready for adoption before the state's deadline of October 31st, 2027. So let's talk about the most important part of this entire thing, right? The community engagement. So, so let's talk about the goals real quick. So as consultants, I think our goals for every community are about the same. We want to reach as many people as possible. We want to make sure that we diversify our outreach methods to engage all groups, specifically the ones who are traditionally have not had a place at the table, so to speak. And we also want to make sure that when we do have opportunities to give, when people have opportunities to give input, that they are inclusive, they're accessible. Essentially, we're trying to reduce any and all barriers to engagement. We want to make sure that anyone with an interest in this plan has the opportunity to participate however they want to participate. So we'll do this through a number of methods. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll have regular meetings with a steering committee. We will have a dedicated project website and a survey that will all be launching in December. I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. We'll have some online activities that we'll host into that website. So there will be continuous opportunities throughout the process for folks to give input, especially if they can't make a meeting. They still have an opportunity to give their input in other ways. Trying to spread out as many community meetings throughout the whole geographic county, not just having all our meetings in one location, but really trying to meet people where they are. Speaking of which, coming to community events, we plan to do is some outreach either will be there or will be helping the Randy and Jeff and all of them out, helping them out these events, getting some outreach for the plan. And then we'll be developing a meeting in a box toolkit so that people who, again, maybe can't always come out to community meetings, but they can have an opportunity to host their own meeting with their friends, with their neighbors, with their work colleagues. Right, next slide, please. So like I mentioned, we do have a website. This is the domain name up on the screen, makingithappenplan.com. My apologies to anyone who does not love wordplay. But we're anticipated to launch the website in probably by the end of this year. I think we're aiming for mid-December of 2025. But we encourage folks to take note of the URL and check the website periodically for more information. We'll be, as soon as we get more details about community meetings and other opportunities to give input, we'll be sure that that is reflected on the website. And we're also going to make sure that the county's website has it and the MPPZ's website has a link to this website. So there's multiple ways to access it. All right, and then I'll just close before we kind of move into the public hearing part of this. I'll just close with some of the upcoming engagements that we have. January 22nd from 6 to 8, we are going to have our opening night event where we encourage people in the community to come out. We're going to have some activities that are going to be really designed to help us get kind of the first look at what the issues and opportunities for the whole county are looking like, and potential for some roundtable discussions around our plan elements. So we do encourage anyone who's interested in the plan, who has who just wants to talk to the consultant team. We would love to have y'all there, engaging with us and letting us know what you think of your community and kind of just some things that we need to know as we get started with each of these plan elements. Speaking of plan elements, we will have our first element meeting for transportation on Thursday, March 19th. We have not set a time or a location for that, but as soon as we know that we get that information, we get that figured out, we'll make sure to let this group know, and we'll make sure the community knows as well, so that those folks who are interested in transportation have an opportunity to come to that meeting. And with that, I believe that's the end of my presentation. Happy to answer any questions that y'all may have about the plan, the planning process. I think I have a slide up there with my email. I think it's next slide. Oh, maybe the next one. Okay, there it is. There's my name. There's my email address right here. I've thrown Greg's email on there too. If you have questions about the plan, if you have questions about the process, if you just want to find more information about how to get involved, you're welcome to reach out to either of us, and we'd be happy to answer those questions and get you the information that you're looking for. But I want to thank y'all again for having me here today to talk about the plan. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions and just hear what this community has to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody got any questions they want to ask? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Do I have a motion? Do
Madam Chair, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, so carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the regular agenda. Hopefully,
Eventually,
I'll talk slowly. Item number 6, the regular agenda is 635 Womack Street. It is a conditional use to allow a cigar and hookah lounge. It's located in the C2 Commercial District. The applicant is John Trell Jackson. Mr. Jackson, come on up.
could you give me just 1 minute to take care of some business? If you are here at 2669 Hillcrest Avenue, 468 2nd Street, 555 5th Street, or 2619 Swanee Avenue, you may leave. You have either been deferred or resolved. Approved, whatever. Okay. That means you can leave. All right, now go ahead. Thank you.
My name is John Trail Jackson, and I'm here for 635 Womack Street.
Is that your address?
That's the address of my address is 1136 Burton Avenue,
Okay.
Macon, Georgia.
Are you going to speak?
If need be, ma'am.
Go ahead and give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Curly Caton. My address is 101 Willoughby Place.
Okay. All right, now tell us about your application.
It's for a new cigar and hookah lounge, which is Skyline Cigar and Hookah. Just a new approach to things. Just excited to get going. Serving wine, beer, wine, alcohol, cigars, not the regular ones, big cigars, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right, and what would be your, you own the business that's in this building now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have a license for that? Do you have a license for the alcohol that you're gonna be?
Yes, ma'am. Everything's in, we waiting on today.
Okay, all right. Commissioners, do you have questions for Mr. Jackson, is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What is a hookah bar? I don't know.
Well, it's kind of new age now. Well, it's not new age. They actually go back for a long time, over across seas. They smoke shisha. It's a substance, it's tobacco, flavored tobacco called shisha. Just little different, little nice looking, just something that looks good and cool and, they get enjoyment out of it.
Say so.
It's sort of like a cigar, but what that's exactly what it is, like pipe tobacco that grandpa used to smoke in his pipe, but it's actually in a machine now, like a little container now.
And you're planning to serve alcohol at this place?
Yes, ma'am.
You already have alcohol license, make application for,
Yes, sir.
been approved?
We're waiting on today.
I think some of the concerns that was talked about early on wasn't necessarily the use of the building. I think it was dealing with some of the requirements for having this type of facility in this building.
Mhm.
Two of those requirements, one being parking. And I know that the building is in one of those areas. And when I say one of those areas, just one of those areas where the lots are tight fit.
Mhm.
And so it does make it very difficult to have parking. Another one being there's supposed to be some type of
Landscape buffering.
landscape buffering. Thank you, Jeff. Landscape buffering between your facility and your neighbors. And it almost looks like there's almost a zero lot line in my.
C2.
It's real close.
There's walls on both sides.
There is a wall.
Retaining walls.
Yes.
Are they considered high enough?
And we're gonna be using shuttles and party buses for parking. We're not gonna have much parking. We already know that. We already went through that. So we're gonna be using shuttles. Our customers can park anywhere in Bibb County and we'll come pick them up and drop them off.
You have a driver for that?
Yes, me.
Mr. Jackson, a few months you were here, at the same location, and then you're gonna be a car rental deal, U-Haul, what have you.
I can't hear you that much.
I said a few months ago, you were here and making an application to have a car rental or something, and you wanted to rent U-Hauls.
Well, the U-Haul business, if we can't show but 1 or 2 trucks, it's kind of, it makes it hard. So I'm having to change it up and go at a different direction.
Do you own that building?
Sort of, kind of.
I understand.
I'm part on the building.
Is your name on the deed?
Yeah.
Is your name on the deed?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Um, my concern with this, serving alcohol, you are very close to your neighbors.
Mhm.
And this is, to me, this is not a good location for what you want to do here. I know that this is an unusual location and building but there are other uses that could be, this building could be for that don't require alcohol and would not be disturbing to the neighbors. I think if you've got buses coming and going, if you've got people smoking and drinking, these neighbors are going to be having a fit.
Well, the last, I would say 2 years ago, I did have a hookah lounge there. Well, it was private, no complaints. The only incident we had was parking. So that's why we're coming up with this new parking area. Everything was private. We didn't sell any alcohol or anything. It just was private. And we had pretty big crowds. And with the help of Bibb County now, that we're doing everything correct and playing by the book, we think we can handle this situation very, very, very well.
Commissioners? Any further questions? Or comments? Do we have anyone to speak?
The folks signed up was Mr. Catons and Mr. Jackson. No one else.
No one else, okay. All right.
So
Do you
there,
have something you wanted to ask, Jeff?
No, I was gonna ask Mr. Jackson, on the rear of the property, is there a wall there or anything?
Yes, wall.
There is a wall there. Was it
Yeah.
a masonry wall?
Yes,
How tall is it?
about 8 foot.
6, 8 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've insulated the whole building. You can hardly hear anything.
How did you do that? With what?
Phone.
Have you tried to buy the lot next door to you?
We're in negotiation.
That might
tell
make
me
a
anything.
difference.
Yes. I don't want to speak on that because I don't know how that's gonna go, but we're in negotiations and I'll
Okay.
let you guys know how that goes.
That might give you what you need to have
Yeah,
extra parking and all of that kind of stuff for
Yeah.
this type of a lounge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
all right, if there are no further questions or no, I'll entertain a motion.
Also about the sign, we haven't heard anything about.
Okay, that's a
Okay.
separate application, is that right?
Correct. Unless he's asking for anything different, then it's just administrative. We approve it.
They have asked for some.
We've already paid and everything. We
Uh-huh.
just-
What is it?
It showed that they were waiting for some information.
We can pull up your application right now and see where it's at.
so Jeff, I want to verify a few things. I'm gonna go back to my original statement, which is just trying to verify the height of the wall that's on the side of it, just to make sure. I want to know whether or not, I'm looking through, I do see where the number of parking spaces that's required. And I do hear you and I do respect what you're saying. Very different technique. I've never, ever heard of that type of situation where you're gonna bust people.
We're trying to bring something new to the
I
area.
got you. I
Yeah.
hear you. I do hear you. What type of confirmation can we require to make sure that that is what's taking place? Or is there something we can do? Because
For the
it-
busing issue
dealing with
specifically?
the busing issue.
Sure.
I mean, is there something that we would have to have in writing or something? because that's unusual.
Yeah, so what happens when somebody says, oh, let's go over to the hookah bar, oh, we missed the bus, let's just go there and park on the street?
Right.
We're not-
So we will, after this is approved, we issue a decision letter that has all the conditions of the permit. We issue that within a week or so to the applicant. Then after that, once we get the required sign-offs from any other departments that may be involved in it, we issue our final zoning compliance. Those conditions are also in the compliance. So it'll be, there is no, it'll be, patrons are bussed in and out and no parking will be allowed on site beyond what's already there out front. So it'll be a condition of the permit. So then that's enforceable like any other zoning rule that we have.
But yet how did that circumvent the requirement of the number parking space that required that there be no matter about the buses?
Right.
How do we address the requirement of
variance?
number parking?
Oh, it's
They-
part of, it's the approval that you all are granting right now. So the conditional use approval is it's essentially its own permit. If it's approved, all the conditions that are in the conditional use just become enforceable. So if you're saying that the parking is okay for the use and busing is allowed, then it is allowed use for that specific condition on that specific parcel to that specific owner of that site.
So there are no variances that they would actually have to apply for.
Not in this case.
And additionally, as far as the landscape buffering, is that something we would verify or is that something they have to present and confirm?
It'd be hard to verify at this point in time, right? So the only way to verify what's out there right now in terms of buffering, in which a masonry wall would meet the requirements, okay?
As long as it's high enough.
Right, as long as it's high enough. We would have to visually go there and check it out. So we couldn't do that today, right here. So if you are leaning towards that, then we should defer it till the next meeting and then we can put our eyes on it on site and see if it meets the rules.
What height is required? And then
It's a minimum 6 feet.
on all sides? I know we got it on the right side. Now, the
Right.
side that is privately owned in front of me, there's
Right.
no wall there. There's a knee wall there. And it's about 4 foot, but there's
Right,
no,
but that's adjacent to.
yeah,
other
there's no
commercial.
neighbors on that side.
So your biggest issue is your residential zoning districts to the north and to the
Yeah, that's
northeast. So-
walled up.
So
Yeah.
that is part of, well, I mean, there's a wall there. That's a retaining wall. That's not a wall, right? So
And it
in a
goes
perfect world, we'd have a 10-foot planting strip, 10 foot of space that would planted with a very thick vegetative screening in a perfect world, but you don't have that here because the site is existing and it's small.
Yeah.
So in these situations, we kind of work with what we have and see if we can kind of mitigate the impacts, right, of a commercial use. Like you're gonna have buses in, there'll be people talking, you're gonna be open till 2 o'clock in the morning. People get a little loud when they drink, especially, after 12, I've been told. So we try to do our best to try to separate those uses and try to make life bearable for people on the other side of you. And in this situation here is really hard to do. So we're trying to find a way to see if what you have there could meet the rules and requirements, or if not, maybe we have to do something differently.
Well, keep in mind, we've already done this. It's just a remolded version, with the alcohol and including Bibb County.
This is a completely new application, Ms. Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
There is concern though, Mr. Jackson. I mean, I'm all about business and, I know you're working hard to just find something that will work there and give you something real profitable. I am a little concerned. And when I say a little concerned, I'm concerned about, the busing part. It is new.
Mhm.
So
Party bus.
not saying now. I know what a party bus is. And you said you're using a bus for the purpose of transporting,
Mhm.
bringing people to your facility to be able to enjoy the facility.
Correct.
Party buses usually are
Party on
is
the
the,
roof.
yeah, it is the.
Where they're
interchange.
usually used on long trips.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's my thought.
Madam Chair, if I'm in order, I'll let make a motion.
Okay,
Madam Chair, Commission for a myriad of reasons to include the parking, the street required to the neighbors, the proximity to the building, the width of the street, the direction that a party bus on there on Friday, Saturday night the car will cause I move to deny the application at 635 Walnut Street, condition used to allow a cigar and hookah bar.
all right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Tim and a second by Mindy to deny the application for a hookah bar at 2669. No.
635.
Oh, I went the wrong way. 635 Womack Street. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, so carry. Gotta buy that lot next to you.
Okay, so what is for the,
You have been denied.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Next,
Item number 7. 536, 544, 552 Church Street. It's a rezoning from R2 residential to C2 commercial. BTBB Architects is the applicant. Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, Bob Brown, BTBB Architect, 609 Cherry Street. The 3 parcels in question are currently zoned R2. The entire rest of the block is owned C2. We're completely surrounded by largest institutional uses, a hospital, a healthcare facility. My client also owns the corner lot, which is 504 Church Street. So the idea is that they develop together, hopefully a medical facility, but that's not part of the application today, strictly the rezoning. This does bring these 3 parcels in conformance with the entire rest of the block as it currently exists, and is in line with the comprehensive plan.
okay. Do we have anyone else to speak?
We do.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Let's see here. Support. We do have Dan and Phyllis. They are speaking in support.
Daniel Minor, Mike Phillips. Our comments may be a little premature, being that we live right across the street, 507, right where the orange circle is. We live on the corner, right where you come down to the left, right there. And so our only request, we have no problem about the development. It would be good. There are vagrants that live in those trees. We just wanted the entrance to whatever is put there to be either on the church, on the fellowship, which is on the left side of the orange, come down to the left, come down to the left. On the left wall there, on that orange, that's the right wall. Go down to the left wall, come down to the bottom.
Yeah. You can point if you want to.
That's okay,
Yeah.
that's okay. The entrance to whatever is put there, sir, either be there or all the way down to the right, ma'am, all the way back up to the right, all the way, keep going till you see the gray. There's already an easement right there to enter that property. So our request was whatever goes there, just don't let the entrance be in front of those houses there. That's the only thing that we were asking. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a few folks signed up in opposition. Sophia Sanders.
My neighbor, Mr. and Mrs. Minor, I'm not opposed. Yes, ma'am.
Name and address for the record.
Sophia Sanders, 537 Church Street.
Thank you.
I am not opposed, and this is for the redistricting to make it all commercial. Once again, I'm not opposed to that at all. And I don't want to reiterate what Mr. and Mrs. Minor had indicated. Would just like to have, if this is going to be a business, what type of business? If it's medical, is it going to be a Saturday and Sunday? What type of lighting are you going to be having on the facility? And again, we would like to have the openings either on Fellowship or at the very end of the block of Church Street. Also because we have some pathways that is on the residential side, on the right-hand side. There are some walkways that come from the back part of Church Street. If the developers could please have a security fence that's going to be on the back side of their building, which would stop people from going through and possibly cutting through our to get to the Coliseum.
Okay, we are.
This is just the rezoning, yes.
Yes, and so there's no improvements or anything like that to be decided today.
Understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next up is Khalil English.
Thank you for having me. I'm Khalil English. I live off of 630 St. John Street, which is at the very top left of that area. I'm opposed. I'll say it like this. I'm opposed to this particular idea. I saw the preliminary plan. The biggest issue I had was that, aside from the fact that it would be right next to my house, but it doesn't seem to align with the comprehensive plans that I've seen. I know there was a recent plan that was developed for the Okmulgee area, where that was going to be kind of like a main target for more walkability and, you know, tourist restaurants and things like that. I feel like having everything dedicated just to medical and not having anything else to promote any walkability or inclusivity of different types of businesses in that area is going to restrict the development that is planned alongside with the 50-year plan. The other issue that I had was just, you know, I wrote some stuff down so I didn't forget anything. But it was primarily, I just, you know, there's been so much effort in the development of that area and, you know, seeing what it can be for the future, especially based off of the Okmulgee Mounds becoming a national park and then the possible development of East Bank Macon and other things like that. And I just think that handcuffing that area to just be a large surface area parking lot and just a dialysis center that has no connectivity to the people who live there, just folks driving there from out of town, coming in and then leaving, not sharing any money with the economy or doing anything to uplift the area. I know the plan that was put up was just preliminary plan. So I mean, I don't know how much I was supposed to take out of that, but all I saw was just a tremendous amount of surface area parking, no type of barriers to make it, to integrate it with the residential component of the neighborhood. I think that there's just a lot of potential for that area right there. And it just would be, I think it would be an injustice to take that entire area, just make it a big parking lot in one medical facility that's only going to be used primarily by people who don't live in the area. It's going to reduce the walkability. Once again, like I said, it's going to restrict any other type of retail, being there, restaurants or dry cleaners, anything that would be, that's highly desired by most of us. And of course, having that much parking, I think I had 81 parking spaces, is just having that much parking going down Church Street is going to be a much busier road, and it's just going to be more focused on a car-centric type of design and plan. And it's just going to kind of put us in a little tiny spot
of the area where we're still just gonna have to get in the car and drive across the river or drive 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get something to eat or do anything. So there's no potential for anything to actually make that neighborhood better and to make it, to integrate it with the plans that were developed. I know there was the 2050 plan, there was the Oakmogee plan, and then there was another, I think the East Macon plan. So there's 3 different plans that really target that area and are really trying to promote walkability and multiple businesses to make it a destination versus just, you know, whatever it is at the moment right now. So I'm not necessarily opposed to commercial development, but, you know, to have an area that's that big, most of it being like 80% parking, most of it surface parking, I just don't think it's the best idea for that location, being that close to downtown, being in such a historic area. I just think there should be more attention and efforts to make that more of a place for more resources and more efforts for the city. And I think it would really help the city out to actually make that more of a destination, walkable area and incorporate it into the downtown landscape. By doing that, it once again kind of creates, even though there is no physical barrier, it just makes it seem like that area is leaving downtown and you're just going off into some random area where people are allowed to just, you know, build a facility with large surface parking and just call it a day and that's it. So, you know, me and my son, who's 4, we like to walk down Church Street to the Oakmogee Park all the time. And then for visitors to my house, we really enjoy it. And, you know, I just think it would be bad to have something like that there. It would just take away from that neighborhood feel that we have. So I think it would be a lot better if it, in my opinion, if they were able to redo the plan and just keep it in that commercial area and then use the other area if it did become commercial for something like a coffee shop or anything like that, that would help out the neighbors, or small grocery or something like that, or even more, you know, townhomes or some more residences or something like that. So that's my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the speakers.
Okay. Mr. Brown? You have an opportunity for rebuttal. How long does he have?
You have 5 minutes, right? What's our rebuttal time? 5 minutes.
I can handle that. Bob Brown, BTB Architects. So a couple of comments. Question about drive entrances at this point, it's not designed. So drive entrances, we can move them around. That's not a problem. Fencing with the adjacent property, again, I think that's something we would want to do regardless. As far as the look of that piece of property on that plan, that is not a final design. At this point, we're matching up a footprint to see how much parking it would require. So that's really all it demonstrates at this point. There is a 15-foot easement that separates 504 from 536. And if we can secure that easement from Macon-Bibb, the plan looks entirely different. So I think that would be our next goal. But again,
Is that bottom piece right there between the red and the blue, or the one above? That's it right there.
So that would be the ideal, which would totally change the look of what we design. Again, building is not part of the application.
Right.
It's not designed at this point. And I would also say the staff report indicates that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the policy and intent of the 2050 comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. All right, commissioners, any questions, any discussion?
The commission even over the years, so we've been a few years and we have taken great efforts to try to preserve the look of that area in the looking forward to the old mother monument coming national park. We've been very careful about what we have alive in that neighborhood. But in my opinion, I think it's appropriate, and especially with the vaccine of the ingress and egress be different. I think maybe it would. I appreciate the gentleman's concern about it, but there's a night park on Main Street, the Oscar lines, I think the Oscar line has developed museum down. I don't know the name of the street, but down by the park. So I don't think there's an area going to develop, so that we control the development. I think this is.
Okay. Anyone else?
I appreciate your concerns too. We have a little bit of a food desert, so it would be nice to see some other community type things go over there. But I also think this fits in with what is around the area, and it would work.
Anybody down here? All right, then I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 7. 536, 544, 552 Church Street for rezoning from R2 to C2 in our R2 district, according to the findings of the staff report.
Second.
We have a motion by Keisha and a second by Robbie to approve the rezoning at 536, 544, and 552 Church Street from R2 to C2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carried.
Moving on. Item number 8 is 855 and 875 Lamar Road. It's a rezoning from agricultural to the R1A residential district. Brandon Bolt is the applicant.
Tyler Finley. I'm not Brendan Bolt. He's our engineer, but I'll be here this afternoon representing Houston Homes. The address is 6053 Veterans Parkway, number 300, Columbus, Georgia, 31907. I'm sorry, 31909. Good afternoon. Appreciate you guys having us back. We were here a couple weeks ago and heard some feedback from you guys. Went back and made some adjustments that I feel like were meaningful to address the concerns that you had. Those concerns were traffic, neighborhood density, impact on schools, sewer, and neighborhood green space. First, I want to talk about the design and the density of the neighborhood. What we've done, and I'm sure it'll come up here in a second, is we have dropped 3 lots. Now, I know 3 lots doesn't sound like a whole lot, but what we did is we dropped what used to be lot 1 and created lot 502 right at the corner. That's done a couple things. It's made some of those lots larger along that road there. But 2, it's given us a little bit more buffer and green space from the street and from anybody across the street looking into the neighborhood. We've also dropped some lots. They were previously 38 and 39 on the old layout, but they are encompassed now in what's shown as lot 500 up there by the retention pond. So with those, while again, it's not a massive number, but what it does do is it lowers the overall density while still maintaining an attainable priced home for local families. Creates that larger buffer along Lamar Road. And one of the things that we're going to be doing here in that new lot 502 will be creating a pull-off for the mailbox kiosks. So be a safe place for residents in the neighborhood to pull into. Have a nice covered kiosk. They can go in, get their mail, stay out of the flow of traffic, and then get back into the neighborhood as it goes there. Second, lot size and neighborhood characteristics. While we did make some of the home sites a little bit larger here, one of the things I do want to note is in this particular zoning, we're asking for minimum lot size is 10,000 square feet. Of the 79 lots that we currently have proposed here, only 45% of those fall between 10,000 square feet and 10,999 square feet. Between 11,000 and 11,999 square feet, we have 15 lots, or 19% of the total number. And we actually have 28 lots, or 35.4%, which are actually above the 12,000 square feet. So while we don't have massive home sites here, we do feel like that it fits the area and allows us to still build an attainably priced home based on the lot yield that we're able to get. In addition to those lots, between lots 500, 501, and 502, we have 7.46 acres of open space. That's 21% of the home, 20% of the overall land mass that we have there. Now, one of the other issues that you guys brought up was traffic, concerns with traffic in the area.
Again, I know that losing 3 lots isn't a massive amount, but that does reduce the daily traffic by 36 to 45, depending on how you calculate that, trips per day. And while we would consider that meaningful, what we're looking at is this is an area as shown in the Macon area transportation study as residential. And we're looking at it as, while we can't necessarily help with traffic largely here, putting this neighborhood in will allow for the critical mass necessary to prioritize this area as indicated on the transportation study. One of the other issues that was brought up, and certainly one that's fair, are those school numbers. What the local schools, their capacity are right now. So Carter Elementary is at 101% capacity. Howard Middle is at 106 capacity, and Howard High is at 97% capacity. It's our position that the best long-term solution, of course, we're developers, right? So we look at it from that lens, but one of the best long-term solutions isn't to stop housing, but it's to encourage balanced and tax-generating growth that will support school funding, allowing families who live or work in the community, teachers, nurses, healthcare professionals, fire and EMS, police officers, law enforcement, to be able to live in the communities that they serve. We feel like this neighborhood is a great transition for those folks to come into, and it will help keep residents in Bibb County rather than going north into Monroe or south into Houston. One of the other issues that was brought up was sewer and infrastructure. We've been working with Macon-Bibb Sewer and Water Authority. I think got the
Water.
Water and Sewer Authority, something like that. So
Macon Water Authority.
Macon Water Authority. There we go. So we're working with those guys to make sure that we engineer everything that we're supposed to. We have the connections that we're supposed to, work with the landowner to the south of us to make sure we have access to sewer there. Obviously, this does not work if we don't have sewer access. So we've been working through that for the last little bit, and we'll continue to do so. I mentioned earlier, one of the things is the open space being 21%. And some of my research, it's almost double what some very similar neighborhoods, not just in this area, but what we see across the state. So 21% open space, unless you're doing a conservation subdivision, that's a pretty good bit of open space that creates, a healthier, more enjoyable neighborhood for residents and a visual benefit to everybody. One thing I kind of hit on a second ago, but I want to look at it from a bigger picture. Monroe County grew by 15% as of the last census. Houston County has grown by 8%, and Macon-Bibb has grown by just 0.25%. Now, that's not for lack of interest. Obviously, people want to be here. What that is there's a lack of housing supply that will allow people to be here. One of the things that I think we kind of miss when looking at putting new homes on the ground, price points and stuff like that, when homeowners are allowed to move up into a home, that frees up their property for a young family to come in and purchase that. And that's a lot of what we see with our construction, with our builds. We're not a starter price point. We are a attainably priced home for what we do. But I think it is very important to unblock the pipeline of existing homes by creating new homes for those folks who are in those homes to move up, and then the younger families to move into those homes. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. So appreciate y'all's time.
Any questions, commissioners? Okay,
Thank you.
we have others to speak.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go right down the line here. Nobody has signed up to speak in favor. So we will move on to the next category. Elizabeth Ford.
Good afternoon, Elizabeth Ford, 6331 Old Forsyth Road. Thank y'all for having me. I live sort of down the road on the corner of where this rezoning is set for. But I've been to all these hearings. I haven't spoken. This is my first time. So I've written some things. I just wanted y'all to hear my perspective. I know you've heard from several people that have lived on this road their whole lives, generations. I wanted to speak to y'all from someone that has moved to this area within the last 5 years and sort of my thoughts. I'm not from Macon. I've been here for the past 14 years after I got married. I have 3 young daughters, and we moved out to Old Forsyth Road about 4 years ago. We were more in town Macon. We wanted just more space, kids be able to run around, trees, woods. I wanted that for them growing up. So we made a conscious decision to move out. Since we've been there, multiple apartments have been built on Lamar Road. If you're familiar with the area, it backs up to Coles. We've seen one after the other built. I'm not even worried about the trash and the shopping carts that get dumped there, but I'm concerned with safety. That road turns sharply. There are no street lights on Lamar Road anywhere, not even backing up from Coles where all these apartment buildings are. There's no sidewalks on Lamar, even where these apartment buildings are. So people are walking in the street along. That's just where they walk. And there's obviously no sidewalks. At night, it's dangerous. I just think it's a dangerous spot that we have some issues that need to be helped. And I think adding, I guess now 79 homes is just going to create more problems that we already have. So that's one of the things. I did want to mention the school district. I know that is a bit, to me, that's a very big thing. The letter that I saw was dated June 5th of 2025, which listed current and then what 82 homes would do. On June 5th, I don't think some of these apartment buildings had opened up. So I think that number would be more now as they've been filling these apartment buildings. There's also the new Bass Road Rivoli development that's been approved for rezoning. Those numbers aren't in there. So there's a lot happening that's going to change these school district numbers even more. Carter Elementary is already over capacity. It would go up to 13% potentially with 82 homes. Howard Middle School would go up to 27% over capacity. Howard High School over 13%. Again, that's not even adding on some other things that's going to add. Outside of the school, I've read the staff report and I wanted to bring up a few things that I thought were interesting. The staff analysis that was done found that the current zoning of Lamar Road does not provide a hardship to the property owner, and that it's currently zoned, it has an economic use. As it's zoned, 35 homes could be built. That's still dense. That's a lot of new homes being built in this area. That's still a transition. What's around it, not going towards Coles, Lamar, but what's around it is way over an acre a house. Houses are on 5+ acres. So that's an acre is still a very dense thing. We wouldn't have to be here. They could do 35 homes. So I think going up to 79 is just too much for the infrastructure for the schools. The staff report also said that the rezoning as proposed would have an impact on infrastructure, which we've already talked about. If you put this all together, it seems what the analysis is, or maybe should be, is whether the need for these homes outweighs the effects. We know there's going to be effects. So is the need there? I looked on Google. I did as much research as I could. It shows that Macon over the last 10+ years is growing at a rate of 0%. 0%. Since 2013, we've gained less than 1,000 people. In the last 4 or 5 years, since 2020, we've lost people. So I'm not seeing how the need is there when we aren't growing. Also, if you look at Zillow, as of this morning, there are over 1,000 homes for sale, 1,073 homes. I went even further, 500,000 or less, 1,008 homes. So I'm just not seeing the need here as to why we should create burdens on schools, infrastructure, roads, everything when I'm not seeing the need. So those were sort of my main points. I want everyone else to be able to speak. But I'll just end by saying I'm all for growing Macon. I have enjoyed living here. I plan to stay here. I hope my kids one day want to stay here. So I'm looking at the big picture and I want Macon to grow in the right way. But I don't want us to clear cut land without showing a clear need. I want to build up our schools, not overburden them. And I would just ask you to vote no. Sorry. I know I have a lot to say, but I'll let everyone else speak. Thank y'all.
Mary Jackson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Jackson, and I live at 810 Lamar Road, directly across from the proposed 79 houses. So I'm here to talk about the serious danger that's on Lamar Road. I'm not from Georgia. I moved here because of the beauty and the space and all of that, but it has changed in the 5 years that I lived right across from the property where they want to put 79 homes. So 5 months ago, a driver sped down the road, down Lamar Road. He hit the mailbox, my mailbox, took it completely off its foundation. It like went all over the road. He caused a bad scene out there for like 5 hours. Debris went everywhere. The truck flipped over and it caught on fire. So basically what I'm trying to say is people speed down that road all the time, going like 75 miles per hour. They don't drive slow at all. Another time, luckily no one was hurt, but another time a car came speeding down the road and the car ended up in our front yard and it just missed our house. So it's just really dangerous out there, you know, like being the road being so narrow. And my husband and I, we have just, we're just kind of like tired of spending all this money to repair our landscape, the bushes, the mailbox, and trying to just cram in 79 houses in that little small area. It's like trying to put 30 people in your house to live. So I just want you to just, you know, just think about that and please reject the proposed 82 houses. Thank you. Thank you.
Linda Hurd.
Good afternoon. Linda Hurd. I live at 425 Clearview Court in Macon in Lake Wildwood. And I'm here representing Lake Wildwood. I've mentioned before, I know I see those two small, very small looking retention ponds. I know that the developers all have to abide by the Clean Water Act. They need to keep their water on their property. But you have 79 homes, you have all those roads, everybody has a driveway, you have all the roads, all that hard surface in there. And I don't think that that is enough retention there for that water. Mentioned that this is a transition to the larger homes, more acreage. You know, they could reduce the number of houses even more. I just think 79 is way too much. 39 would be fine. I don't know. I think he said 400,000 for these homes. Just like the other lady said, there's plenty of other homes that people could be purchasing, living. People move out there in that area because they like the space. They want that nice nature around them, not some neighbor on a 10,000 square foot lot that you're piling 2-story homes on. So we just have had a lot of increased stormwater damage in our lake. It's coming right down Peak Road into the, it's an unnamed tributary. We call it Kroger Creek. It comes in there and it comes in Colaparchie Creek. And we have had an increase in the silt. And according to conversations we had with the mayor back in November of 2024, he was going to talk to you all about trying to put a little pause on the number of developments coming into this north part of the our watershed area. I don't know if he did, but that was what he said is a complicated issue. And he was going to request that there be no additional developments or buildings approved in that area for right now. They're working on trying to get that retention pond off of Peak Road repaired and then working with us to help us mitigate some more of that water coming in. But again, I just think it's not enough space there for that retention, and it should be less dense. And we hope that you would consider all those things when you make your decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Hollis. Sam, you got 5 minutes for you and Carl Fambro. Yeah, so he's got 5 minutes total.
My name is Sam Hollis. I live on the corner of Oversight and Lamar, which I have all my life. My mother before me and her parents before them. So I've been there a good while. And we've watched for over the years as the whole environment out there has changed, but mostly for the good. It has always been heavily wooded. The lots have been good size. We've had a really good area of development. We, unfortunately, when the development of Zebulon Road started, is when all this kind of picked up a little bit. But even with that, it fit into the category of fitting the nature of our environment and our community. Everything kind of sort of flowed together, even though it was a massive development over there. And at the time, and we opposed, of course, the development, so much of the commercial over there, we were told that it wouldn't ever go past basically then, which was Coles, that area there. It would never come on down Lamar Road. And I was hoping that the planning and zoning would adhere to that like they promised us in the past. But also, in doing so, we have endured the building of the apartments, and we've had 3 major apartment complexes built on Lamar Road, which has increased the traffic tremendously. And since the last 2 have been built, and both of those are rent subsidized apartment complexes, our yard has become a trash can. And I think everybody else along there as well. And every day you have to go out and go on trash patrol, picking up trash in the front yard. And the next thing is, like she was saying a minute ago, the traffic on Lamar Road is just horrible. And it funnels into Old Forsyth. And Old Forsyth is an old federal highway that was built back in the 20s. And the right of way for the highway is actually the edge of the highway, of the road itself. So there's really not a whole lot of effort being made to, or ability to widen that road a lot. You've got Howard School. There's not a day that goes by that somebody doesn't have to run off the road there. And like she was saying, the cars coming through there, it just didn't wide enough to handle it. And today I was run off the road twice going up Old Forsyth, one by school bus, next by a big truck coming down through. And with the prospects of them closing the bridge on Tucker Road, it's going to do the same effect as it did of closing the bridge on Bass Road. And it's going to funnel more and more cars down Old Forsyth and Lamar. And it's just going to make it just a really unsafe area for us to go to. And the next thing, the mention was made last time that we were running out of dirt. We're running out of property out that way. Well, I got to thinking about it, and like I say, I've been out there all of my life, and I know a lot of the property around there. But just out on Lamar Road, the other end of Lamar Road, there's 1,000 acres that hasn't even been developed. It's all wooded. Then over on Tucker Road, there's another close to 1,000 acres there. Then out a little bit further on Thompson Road, there's again some large tracts out there that have not been developed. And I'm not saying that it would be better out there either, but we really don't need this type of high density in our neighborhood out there. We are inundated, like I say, with high traffic. We're inundated with all the problems that come along with high density commercial. And because of that, I would hope that you would deny this and anything further that would go in this other than, acre plus home sites there that would fit into the character of our neighborhood. This one, and something to keep in mind too, they're talking about 10,000 square feet. And that sounds like a whole lot when you say, but remember that like a tennis court is 7,200 square feet. And that's not a whole heck of a lot bigger than what, the lots are not a whole lot bigger than that. And doing that, this piece of property will be completely clear cut, regraded. There'll be nothing left. There'll be a giant scar that's stuck in there in our neighborhood. It won't fit in to the character of the rest of the neighborhood at all. So I hope that you will deny this. Thank you very much for having me.
Carl Fambro. You got 51.
51.
Carl Fambro, 864 Lamar Road. I'll make this really brief. I would ask that y'all remember there is no such thing as a do-over when it comes to landscaping and development. As an anecdote, just to jump to the end of my comments, when Lake Wildwood first started, my father went out and bought some property there. I went with him, with my brother and two other guys, and he was really excited to buy that property. 10 years later, he was out. And no do-over because Lake Wildwood is still working with those same problems of sewage and flooding. If this happens, the same thing is going to happen to us again on Lamar Road. Too many cars, too many houses, too much flood damage. And I am done. Thank you for your attention today. I'm pretty sorry.
You did good.
Rebuttal.
Thank you all. I appreciate all the comments. Everybody that came up and spoke. So I want to address several of those. The school numbers, those are as of Friday, 11/7. So just several days ago, has been pulled those school numbers. They came from Macon-Bibb School. Second, the 1 acre lot sizes, that sounds awesome. I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's very great. And certainly if we could, we would do that. We've certainly run through the economic analysis. And it just doesn't make sense. I mean, so, you still got to pay the same amount for the land. You still got to put the same amount of roads in, and you still got to put the same amount of sewer in, and you still got to put the same amount of water and power and internet and all those things that come into play there, which is going to force your home price or your lot cost, right? Your lot cost is going to be so expensive that you can't have a reasonably priced house on that home site, right? So you got to raise the price up to fit, or else we wouldn't be in business. And so that's the reason we're asking for what we've done. If I could have dropped more lots and I could have done better on that, we most certainly would have. And so I think it's important to know that. We're not here to slam as many as we possibly could on it. If we were going for an R1A density or zoning, we could have all the home sites down to 10,000 square feet, get as many as we could possibly get in there. I think that number is probably closer to 100, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit the area. So that's why we've presented what we presented, because we feel like this is a great transition from apartments, right? And to that point as well, what we want to have 1 acre home sites. I mean, the market's going to dictate that, and our research and our homeowners and home buyers, somebody who's going to pay that much for a house probably doesn't want to live next to some folks, next to apartments. So that's something that we have to take into account as well. Retention ponds, I understand that completely. We hear that at every single rezoning meeting we go to. It's an issue. Our engineer is a fantastic engineer. He takes that into account when he does all of his calculations to make sure that we don't do anything downstream or impact anyone else negatively. So yeah, I think those are the big things that I needed to hit on that I heard from the folks that just came up. Again, I do appreciate their time, and I certainly respect their position, but we're trying to do something good for the community. We believe this is the best option for it.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask him a
Sure.
question, please,
Sure.
Mr. Finley? You're the development company. Do you guys do the horizontal and the vertical, or do you sell your lots off?
We do not sell lots. We are the end user. We develop so we can build homes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. And I don't believe you were here last time.
I was not. I was rear-ended.
Well, I certainly hope that turned out okay. That's not
Literally.
No, we're an employee-owned company. And so we've been in business for over 50 years. Our founder and his son sold it to the employees not too terribly long ago. And so we build all of the homes. We develop all of our neighborhoods so we can build the homes in those neighborhoods.
Do you retain any?
No, sir. No, sir.
You're out of Columbus?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we operate from Auburn, Opelika, Alabama, east across Georgia, all the way to Augusta.
How many homes you built?
Our highest count year was 700. Right now we're about 450. And so we're right around that 450, 500 mark.
And your product type on this? What size of the houses you looking at?
Certainly. So we build anywhere. So here in this neighborhood, we'll build 2,500, 2,600 square feet, all the way up to 3,600 square feet. That would be
2 stories?
2-story homes, craftsman style, hardy hardy siding, brick, stone. We use some shake, some cedar shake, sometimes where it makes sense. We have game day porches. We do tile in the wet areas, hardwoods in the living areas. Gosh, I mean, just, you know,
Your price point's 400 to 500,000.
we'll be on the low end about 350, on the high end about 500, low 500s. That would be
Thank you.
four bedrooms, 2 baths, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, up to 5 bedrooms, 4 baths.
I'm sorry if you already answered all those
No,
questions.
no, you're good. No, you're good. You weren't here last week or last time, so I appreciate the
Have
questions.
you in the development in Bibb County already?
I'm so sorry.
In the developments in Bibb County already?
We bought some home sites in Tivoli, Barrington Hall, some years ago, and we built that out. We have not been in Macon-Bibb for 2.5 years now, and so looking to be back here. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Jeff, I have a question.
Sure.
Have you been in communication with the mayor office about this project?
Not specifically on Lamar Road in this area, but I'm gonna call them today. Probably with some other issues we need to talk about, irrespective of a development moratorium, which is a big deal to talk about, but obviously the safety and the cleanliness and the lighting is something, as you know, we have no jurisdiction over public right of way, which is unfortunate. But every meeting I hear about it, and I'm gonna have some conversations and see what we can do. But I haven't talked about, nothing about development, anything like that so far.
I was gonna ask if there was any plans to develop Lamar Road,
I don't know.
sidewalk, streetlights, anything like that.
Does our MPO coordinate? No, that's local, right? Yeah. It's all county. I'll get those answers.
Well, they're doing a good job from what I can see of paving.
Yes.
When I looked at the list of paving, I did not see Lamar Road on there, but that doesn't mean it's not on the agenda. Pardon?
It's not on.
Okay, thank you. But I think eventually it will, and I don't think they'll just pave it. I think they'll widen it a little bit, which means that those people on Lamar Road will have to give up some of their land for widening if they do so.
Possibly. It depends on how wide the right of way is and how much paving is there. They may be able to work within the existing right of way.
Maybe so, maybe so. I have said it here before. We have to dense up a little bit. I've happened to live in a neighborhood that has everywhere from little 10,000 square foot lots to 10 acres or 20 acres. And I know that I don't do housing, but I know we got to dense up. Whether this is the place to do it, I can't say that. But anyway, anybody else got any comments?
Well,
Somebody, yeah.
Well, hearing both sides, I appreciate both sides' position, and especially the compelling testimony you're gonna litigate that. I do think when you purchase your own property, you look at different kind of things. And you make that decision based on that. And being a realtor, you kind of know how folks look. I used to be one. So I'm having mixed emotion about it. I understand the problem density in Bibb County and probably a lot of major cities. And but I also have trouble with, trying to appreciate the homeowner that's already there. And I've seen, and when I first came over here, I heard that the promise that no commercial building will be built beyond the Kroger, when they were developing. But look what happened, because of the need of this thousand. Well, start my head and vote.
Well, I've been on this commission almost 15 years. And as far as I know, we have never made a statement that says we will never do this, because you never know who's coming behind you and what things will change. And you can't do anything anymore if you don't expect change. There are people who have lived in their homes for 50 years and on 10 acres, and that's wonderful. That is wonderful. But then, progress happens. And everybody's definition of progress is different. So we just have to take everyone as they come and make decisions best as we can. So do I have a motion? Do I have any more discussion?
Well, I'm in agreement with you. I'm not always hopping up and down. My child at one point went to Howard. And we would take the back road. And it is a very dangerous curve. Do I think he could lessen the density? Yeah, he could. Does it help him maximize affordability, or even just making it worth it, putting this together? I don't know. Okay. But I'll say, like I've said so many times before, I don't always like density, but in order for us to progress, in order for us to be ready for what is to come, this is where we find ourselves. We find ourselves having to dense up. So these type of neighborhoods are what we're having to accept in order to meet the requirements that are coming. I'm on the housing analysis team. And so I do hear you when you say that Macon has had very little growth. I'm not sure exactly where that information came from. I know that we are growing. I know that our growth may not be at the level of other cities that surround us, but I do know that we are growing. And what's making it challenging for people to come here is housing. They're looking for affordable housing. They're looking for quality housing. And this meets that. It meets that thing that they're looking for. So as much as I would desire for it to look a little different, the entrance to be not so close to the curb, for it not to be so dense, I'm accepting of what is put before us, because it does meet what we are looking for as a whole, and that is density, that is new housing. It meets that.
Any other comments?
I agree with Keisha.
All right. Then give me a motion of some sort.
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we approve item number 8, 855 and 875 Lamar Road, rezoning from A to R1A district, in an A district, according to the findings of the staff report.
Second.
We have a motion by Keisha and a second by Mindy to approve the rezoning at 855 and 875 Lamar Road from A to R1A. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
So that is a 4-1, so it passes. Next.
Items number 9 and 10 withdrawn by the applicant. On to item number 11. Pause for a moment to let everyone leave. $49.79 Mercer University Drive is a variance from our sign ordinance, and the placement of the signs is located in a PDM, Plan Development Mixed Use District. Sign store is the applicant.
Hello, I'm Mike Lewis with the Sign Store, 1836 Broadway. About 2 months ago, we applied for, received a sign permit and installed some signs for Napa Auto Parts. I'm sorry, this isn't even my account. I'm not supposed to be here today. I apologize. The customer has since said that they would like to have the same small sign on the right side of their building as was approved for the left side. If I'm not mistaken, the reason I am standing here is because there's not a street on that right side. So I am asking for a variance to let the sign go on the right side of the building, the same as we put on the left. This is 22.9 square feet. It's not a very big sign. They in no way maxed out what they could have on these buildings. They're a lot smaller than most people would have asked for. So.
To be honest with you, I don't like to give variances on signs anymore. This commission paid a lot of money for a new sign regulations. And whenever anyone asks for, my immediate reaction is no. Now, you can explain to me why this is neat, why you have to have one on all three sides. I'll listen.
Okay. I don't think they have to have one on all three sides. I'm gonna be on your side for a second, but when you're driving down Mercer University Drive, that is the most prominent side of the whole building and the one that the customers are looking at first. If it was my business, I would be asking for that sign there as well. Probably you would too. I know this is a variance, but I don't think this is one that is very hard to approve.
Do we have anyone to speak?
No, ma'am.
Commissioners?
So the other two signs is just on the face of the building. It's not a actual physical sign that's out in front of the building.
Yes, ma'am. They've got a very small little pylon sign on the front of the building. If you've got a picture of that. Again, I make my living selling signs. The bigger they are, the better they are for me. But they wasted a ton of money and just did not get anything with the little money sign that they kept. They repurposed the one that was there for the school supply company. And I don't know why it's even there. I'll be honest with you. So you can see the one from the front of the building very good. You can see one on the left side as you go down the side road. The one on the right side of the building here, to be honest, is the one more people are going to see than anything.
I have to agree with Jean. You know, there are just certain things that we've gone out of our way to just make sure that we kind of get things under, I don't want to even use the word under control, just to the degree that we can be consistent. And if there is not a some type of dire need or some type of obstruction, yeah, that creates that need for it, I'm not jumping up and down about issuing a variance either.
They need to take the one on the ground in the front down or something.
You still wouldn't let me put it on the side?
Right.
Because the way I'm thinking along the lines of is that is a 4-lane road. There is a small median right there, if I'm recalling correctly. And so the one that can actually make an immediate turn into it will see it because they are facing that road. The one that you're referring to, they're coming down anyway. So they're going to have to come and they're going to see that sign that's in the front of the building. And that's why I say, yes, would it help? Of course, always. If we can see it 2-3 times before we get to the building, it's always a good idea.
Well, I guess I'm talking over this today, right? But I was, Gina, you know, I was here when we orchestrated the sign order and what have you. And I too were very, very concerned about signage and making it whatever. But in this case, I might be honest, at the domicile of the building. I traveled that road 3, 4, 5 times a week. And I'm that sign that I'm seeing here every time aesthetic pleasing. I don't think taking away from anything in the landscape. So I personally think that we focus on this valley.
I agree with you, Tim. I mean, I'm not a business owner, but if I were the business owner, that's the dominant side of the road. You really, I had no idea Napa was there, and you really can't see the bottom of that monument sign. You can't.
And I feel like I say I traveled, but I didn't know. I'll be honest.
Well, you couldn't have been there too long. For you to see it. I don't know how long they've owned that building, but,
We put this up first in the summer.
okay, I knew it hadn't been there
Yes,
too
it was
long.
a school supply building for a long time.
Issued it May 21st.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything else?
Well, I tend to agree with Tim and Robbie. That's the parking lot side. I know it's good to see that when you're parking and, marketing and advertising and all that. So that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Okay. Then let me have a motion.
I'll make a motion. Madam Chair, I make a motion, we approve item number 11, parcel number L081-0104, 4979 Mercy University Drive for a variance and sign placement, PDM district, the sign store is applicant.
Second.
We have a motion by Robbie and a second by Tim to approve the sign variance at 4979 Mercy University Drive. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Opposed?
Just me. Yeah.
3-2.
So we have a 3-2, so you win.
Got the next one too.
Oh, okay. He doesn't get to leave anytime.
Item number 12 is 795 Maynard Street. It's a variance and allowable building signage square footage. It's located in the R2 district. Sign store is the applicant. Can he go 2 for 2 for the day? We'll find out.
I haven't been here in a year.
All right, hang on a
I have 2
minute.
months.
Got a commissioner going to recuse himself.
Understand?
I'm a member of the Church of 795 Menard Street and part of the administrative board. Made application for this sound. So
All right, you'll have to speak.
Just got my odds down all of a sudden. Okay.
All right, name and address for the record, please.
Mike Lewis, 1836 Broadway from the sign store. Here in reference to 795 Maynard Street. We originally put up the signs in the front of the church. They were allowed 50 square feet total of signage for this property. We used 35.5 square feet when we did the front part of the church. They would like to put some non-illuminated letters on the side of the church facing the parking lot in honor of one of their pastors. And what they're asking for is a variance for signage, which I know you don't like. We still have 12 square feet left. So we would be looking for 35 square feet of variance. This sign is approximately 4 feet tall by 12 feet wide. Randy, pre-meeting, you said the actual square area of the lettering is about 12, 13. Is that right?
Yeah, it's gonna be the grand total for it's like 23. I haven't calculated in here. It's 23 point something. It's about double what is left that they could have. And that's based on just each line of text for the channel rooms at 10 inches tall times their length of signage. The 35 variants there, the total 47.65 square foot of signage is including the brick area behind it, because it's drawing an imaginary rectangle around the tallest and the longest portions of the sign.
Do we have anyone to speak?
We do not.
All right, commissioners. All right, tell me again, if you count just the letters, what would the variance be?
Scrolling down. It's about half. So if calculating just the text is 23.12 square feet is the total signage. And so and they have 12.2 square feet remaining that they could use. So they need a net variance of about 12.
About 12 square feet?
You should know that's not how we calculate
Yes,
signage.
I know it. I'm trying to find.
I'm just saying net on actual impact, visual impact, but.
All right, I'm remembering the sign to, what's the Northside Hospital?
Mhm.
They came and their request was not but like 10 feet over. And so I need to apply the same criteria to everybody. So if I'm going to deny Northside High School, Northside Hospital because of 10 feet, how can I approve this one? So that's my point.
Tim's a nice man. Tim's a nice guy.
I know him. I love him.
I understand.
I love the Ingleside Baptist Church too, but
And the definition of how we calculate it does include your blanks.
right.
The visual impact's different, but the actual calculation, the way we do it and look at it includes that blank here.
Can they reduce the words a little bit?
If I do that, get it a little closer to that.
Would we know if the words are reduced, how much smaller it could be? If it would fit within that?
If I made that 3 feet tall versus 4 feet tall, it would reduce it overall to about 8, 9 feet. I'd get it pretty much to 0.
It would be really close then.
I wouldn't do it without telling you.
You defer it if the applicant is willing to
I
try
would
to
like
come
to
back with some
defer.
options.
You come back
Okay.
and give me something smaller.
Either smaller or maybe with a little bit less words somehow, whatever fits the church's needs.
Yeah, get rid of pastor or maybe.
Can you use
education.
Reverend REV instead of
Right,
PASPO?
PAS.
I'll bring something back. We'll be on the next agenda.
Correct.
Or damage.
I gotta be there anyway.
What is that? What's our next agenda, Christie? December 8th.
December 8th.
We're already on there for something. I don't know what.
Say what?
I said, I think we're already on there for something anyway. So,
Well, you'll have another one.
all right. Appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Just a motion to push it to December 8th.
Okay,
Second.
who made the motion?
You did.
I can't make a motion.
I'll make a motion. We defer to December
Okay.
8th.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Randy. Robbie, and a second by Mindy to defer this to the next meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carries. Tell me that's the last one
That
today.
is all.
Oh, thank
We
you.
don't have new business or old business.
I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
Mhm.
Second. We have a motion and a second to pick who you want to put in there, to adjourn. All in favor say aye. All opposed, so carried.
So. Did not